Is your commish, Adrian. It is now the afternoon on, what is it, March 21st, 2023. I'm recording this for this season, but also as a use for the following season or seasons, presuming we don't change things too often on our playoffs. The intent of this is to show you how to track playoffs in Puckhogs so you can enjoy your playoffs, know who you're up against, and yeah, I guess that's about it. I'm going to give you a quick view of the way we used to do it. This is 2016-17. What we used to do is make these really sexy brackets, put icons for teams, track points daily, as in huge pain in the ass. And then we had linked cells to, where is it, to each individual team, and you could see who you're up against. Really cool, but a huge pain in the butt. It took a lot of work. I then came up with an idea that's a lot easier, even though it's a little clunky and not very elegant, but it actually is very simple. And let me explain how. First thing you do is you start off with your playoffs. And we are now, as I mentioned, in the 22-23 season. We are towards the end, or I should say maybe halfway through round 3. So you start with the playoff link that we give you. You go to your division, and then you click on your division and the round you're talking about. In this case, I clicked on round 3 under Brophy, because that's the division that my team is in. And what that does is it launches, this. This is a pre-filtered Fantrax page that shows you round 3's data, March 17th through March 23rd. If you click on all the other links, they will show you the data for only those periods. And in this case, you can see that it's filtered to Brophy. Okay, great. Here I am. I'm in round 3. How do I know if I'm alive or if I'm dead? All right. So the way you know if you're alive is if you see something like, in this case, BRO stands for Brophy, 1.1v2. This means that Pete Sellers was the first finisher, the first finished first, I should say, in the regular season. Then everything after the period tells you about the matchup that he is in. In this case, he's the first, and he's 1v2, meaning Pete's going against the number 2 team. Well, let's find the number 2 team. You scroll all the way, maybe down in this case, which is unfortunate for Mr. UC here. He finished second, and he's in the battle of 1v2. Since we are in round 3, everybody else is out of the regular brackets. So in the case of BRO with nothing, like Quebec Freemic Brothers for Fab, his team never made the playoffs. In the case of Pure Sniper, which I think is Dave Turcotte, he, by being -R2L, that means he is a round 2 loser. And just like Fab, he is in the toilet bowl. So we'll talk about that later, the toilet bowl later. But in this case, there's only 2 teams that are alive in round 3 for the playoffs. And you can see because they have this 1v2 and that kind of thing. Let's just pretend as if we had clicked out to Upton, for example, from the here, where's Upton, round 3. That would take us to right here. In this case, you can see quiz or check on learning. Who's alive? How about Richard Orovech, 2v6, and then Moose Jaw Habs, 2v6. These are the only 2 guys that are available, or I should say are alive. In this case, it's the number 2 seed versus the number 6 seed. And then when we saw earlier, it happened to be the number 1 and number 2 seeds. Everyone else is dead, or I should say is in the toilet bowl. Again, Dover Court Dodos, Lot Lizards, all didn't make the playoffs, but Nipple Cripple and the Misfits both lost in round 1 and are alive in the toilet bowl. In earlier rounds, round 1 and round 2, you would see 2v7, 3v6, 4v5. Of course, in round 1, the number 1 team or number 1 seed has a bye, so you would see the word bye. So the way you know who you're going up against is to see who is there on your, 2v6, 6v2 kind of thing. Or I should say they're both 2v6, but this is number 2, this is number 6. And if it's not obvious, in this period, again, of round 3, Richard Orovech has 1,201 points. Moose Jaw Habs, which I think is Ryan Poulin, a previous bucket winner, has 901. That's all you need to look at. What I personally do when I've made the playoffs, which I didn't do this year, I save the link as a favorite, and then I check it every day to see how I'm doing against my opponent. All right, so that is regular playoffs. Toilet bowl. How does a toilet bowl work? Last Chance Kitchen toilet bowl link. If you click this, it takes you right to here. And again, if you want to look at the filters, this is a pre-filtered 3-week period, March 3rd to March 23rd. Rounds 1, 2, and 3, all clubbed together. And you can see there's no filter on division. So you see Dunlop, Lucier, Dunlop, Tuttle, McCracken, etc. These are all the teams in the entire league showing. So in the case of Benny Yelich, 1v4, he's alive in the playoffs. So he is not a toilet bowl team. Either is no Regretskis with that unfortunate apostrophe. Bulldogs de Quebec, Classy Lumberjacks, and Triple A, or I should say Triple F Brown Club are all toilet bowl teams. And the really crazy thing is it's all Fab's team, but that's they're all teams that belong to Fab, different divisions. The most insane thing I've ever seen, having 3 toilet bowl teams and for 2 slots, but that's a separate story. Richard Orovech, there he is, Dratzen Bowl, Rooks, all of that stuff. These guys are alive in the playoffs. WHA Fanatic, otherwise known as Uncool Steve, is a round 2 loser. Therefore, he is alive in the toilet bowl, fighting for Fab and his crazy 3 teams to get in as a toilet bowl team. I realize it's a little murky to have playoff teams who are alive in brackets mixed in with toilet bowl teams, but again, this is just the limitations we have. So in this case, you can see, so just have to ignore these teams, and you can see Bulldogs de Quebec is the #1 team in the toilet bowl. So I should say, I hope that is totally clear. When you get to round 4, all you have to do is click on the round 4 button, which I should say is here because it's combined. Take a look at the rules, check on learning. What's it going to show if I click on it? If you said all zeros, you'd be right because I have pre-filtered the Fantrax periods to show next week, and nothing has happened next week, so everything is 0. That's why it shows what's there. Of course, in round 4, we will have all the toilet bowl will be decided. There will only be round 5 teams left, and it will be very clear on who's still alive. So I think that's it. And again, I forget exactly, honestly, what we put under I know the division will be there. It'll probably say R5. Oh, there's tranches. Oh boy, I should probably record this because we have groupings of 3. I should probably make a separate recording for that. But at least to get you through rounds 1 through 3, that's how you follow this. Thank you very much. And I will stop the recording now.